with a scream, eyes like fire, so mean, breaking hearts with no care. I saw through her cold stare. Lies and deceits all day, twisted games that she played. I had to break the chain, had to end all this pain. Psycho woman all about her, couldn't stay another hour. Packed my bag, said goodbye, no more tears left to cry. Like a queen, made my life a bad scene. Couldn't breathe, couldn't fight, I just had to take flight. She controlled like a queen, made my life a bad scene. Couldn't breathe, couldn't fight, I just had to take flight. Thought I missed her, but no, better off on my own. Now I'm free, I can breathe, left her drama to see. Psycho woman all about her, couldn't stay another hour. Packed my bag, said goodbye, no more tears left to cry. Like a queen, made my life a bad scene. Couldn't breathe, couldn't fight, I just had to take flight. Thought I'd miss her, but no, better off on my own. Now I'm free, I can breathe, left her drama to seethe. Psycho woman all about her, couldn't stay another hour. Packed my bag, said goodbye, no more tears left to cry.
We're the outlaws on the asphalt, running wild, we'll never fall. In the shadows where the strong survive, GoatLocker Racing, we come alive. We're brothers and sisters bound by the code. In the heat of the battle, we lighten the load. From the dirt to the track, we stand our ground. With a roar like thunder, we shake the town. We're racing to the fire, burning bright. With the grit of the brave, we fight the night. No chains can hold us, no fear can break. We're GLR for glory's sake. We've got the scars to show where we've been, but we wear them proud like a second skin. For the fallen and the ones who rise, in the name of freedom we ride the skies. From the first green flag to the final lap, we push the limits, no turning back. With the wind at our backs and the sun in our eyes, GoatLocker Racing, we'll claim the prize. We're racing to the fire, burning bright. With the grit of the brave, we fight the night. No chains can hold us, no fear can break. We're GLR for glory's sake. Storm, we find our way. On the edge of the wild, we won't betray. Every lap, every turn, it's do or die. With the spirit of a warriors, we reach for the sky. We're racing through the fire, burning bright. With the grit of the brave, we fight the night. No chains can hold us, no fear can break. We're GLR for glory's sake. Show where we've been, but we wear them proud like a second skin. For the fallen and the ones who rise, in the name of freedom we ride the skies. We got the scars to show where we've been, but we wear them proud like a second skin. But we wear them proud to show where we've been, but we wear them proud the glory's sake. We're the heart of the storm where we've been, but we wear them proud like a second skin. For the fallen and the ones who rise, in the name of freedom we ride the skies. We're racing through the fire, burning bright. With the grit of the brave, we fight the night. No chains can hold us, no fear can break. We're GLR for glory's sake. Yeah, for glory's sake. the storm, we found our way. On the edge of the wild, we won't betray. Every life that we're trying to do or die, with the spirit of warriors, the game.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new day, it's a new life.
Texas Motor Speedway is the home of round 2 of our coverage of GoatLocker Racing's INVETS Sunday Series. The fall season of this league, drivers are more than ever excited to hit this 1.5 mile racetrack. Of course, you're going to see it all on Maconi Entertainment. I am Dylan Goyle, joined alongside Shane Mundy. Shane, we always talk about what series always provide the excitement here in iRacing, and of course, everything that GoatLocker does in terms of their commitment to veterans and making donations, a 501c3. It's perfect, but when it comes to actual racing on the track, it's aggressive, it's exciting, and I can't wait for it to get going here.
Absolutely. This series put on a great show last week at Talladega. Always kind of hard for anywhere to not put on a great show at Talladega, but these guys did exceptional. You mentioned the veterans that this series has to offer, some of the best on the service, and I'm very interested to see how they're going to take on the task of Texas Motor Speedway. Hard to pass here. You got to manage your tires. Got to make sure you're in contention at the end. Can't win if you don't have a truck. Take a look at some of those track information for you. Place opening back up all the way back in 96, undergone plenty of changes since then. I want to say it's about 2017. They upped the banking in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Different banking levels in the two sets of corners, 1.5 miles in distance. And it's a tricky one nowadays.
It absolutely is, and I really want to put some emphasis on the fact that these are not cup cars that are at this newly reconfigured, I guess you could say 7 years old reconfigured Texas Motor Speedway. We're racing trucks here. It's going to be a very different style of racing, more close together, not necessarily pack racing, but it won't be as difficult to get the truck turning, especially through 1 and 2 going down the backstretch, than we would see with the Cup Series cars. You get a look here at this 15-race schedule, and it's interesting how they do things here. 10 races for the regular season, and then we get the round of 12 2 races, the round of 8 2 races, and then the championship 4 at a track I am so excited to get to, old school Atlanta Motor Speedway. We never saw that configuration, I guess you could say, the not old school, but the 2000s version, the before the current configuration. That's going to be the championship decider. I'm excited for that.
And that's another one you'll definitely want to manage your tires. But if you make it to the championship 4, odds are you know a thing or two about how to drive these NASCAR trucks. Texas here today. Of course, we head to Dover next week. That'll be pretty exciting as well. It's a great schedule they put together here. Those 2 rounds of the playoffs, round of 12, round of 8, a couple different tracks in terms of difficulty in each round. So definitely be interesting to see how this season progresses. Talladega last week was just the beginning, and here we are at Texas for round 2. So it's just going to heat up week after week after week. And I think we're in for a great show tonight here, Dylan.
I also think we are in for a great show. You see the trucks on this track are pacing around here at Texas Motor Speedway. Qualifying has commenced, and excited to have you all joining us here. Of course, want to let you know Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Entertainment. You can find all of our information on MaconiSetupShop.com, the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more on the iRacing service. Subscriptions available as low as $8 per month. It's the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the official series sponsor of the NASCAR C-Fix Series. The starting grid, you got Jeremy Gardner starting on the pole at 29.821 with David Duke alongside Cody McElwain, and Jeremiah Holt in row 2. Benjamin Stevens, Mike George, your top 3 rows, Shane.
Yeah, going down to row 4, Jamie Barkas in the 7th position, Kendorian Davis in 8th. Saw Kendorian Davis in the mix at Talladega last week, got caught up in some accidents. Same with George Jewell, who starts in 9th, Johnny Cofield 10th. And that rounds out our top 10. Moving on to 11th and 12th, finds James Kaufman's number 10, and Brett Bieber in 808, who is also very strong at Talladega.
Michael McCarthy in 13th with Timothy Jones alongside. 2 Toyotas right there. Charles Abbott will be in 15th with Matt Knights in 16th. Bobby Germain 17th alongside another Chevy, and Colton Langford in P18. We continue rolling down with Nicholas Schell, Timothy Wilms, your top 20. Tommy Lemley, Scott Gilroy, Ricky Sisk, and Brandon Wallace, your top 12 rows, Shane. Just Cameron Wessenberg left 25 truck field, and I'm excited for this one. It's going to be good. Only 1 fast repair allowed to these drivers, 3 green-white checkered attempts. It'll be a fun one here tonight at Texas.
I absolutely agree. And some of those guys, as we got towards the latter of the starting grid, did not elect to make qualifying. Let's take a look at the weather conditions here tonight. crystal clear night skies here in Fort Worth, Texas, with an air temp of 78 degrees and a track temperature of 78 degrees Fahrenheit to match it. Not a lot of wind in the area either, just a bit of a wind headed north, just a couple miles an hour. Won't even feel it out there. Take a look at our pole sitter, Jeremy Gardner. He's, like I said, he's going to lead us to the green here in that Veterans for Life Silverado. Sharp-looking truck on point there. Going for 100 laps. We'll see if those overtime attempts are needed. Who's coming from the back? Who maybe falls off? Dylan, pace truck's going to pull off.
Lights are out on the pace truck. Round 2 of this 10-round regular season. It is the GLR INVETS Sunday Series. Excited to bring the action here on Maconi Entertainment. Green flag in the air. We're underway here at Texas Motor Speedway.
So far, nobody really off to a clear advantage. Going to be door to door going into turn 1. David Duke actually inched ahead of Gardner for a moment there, but the bottom's easily going to prevail as they come off turn 2. Got some guys, maybe even a little bit of 3 wide throughout this pack. Everybody jockeying for every inch that they can get, but it's Gardner leading them into 3 and 4.
There's no better time to try and grab positions than on a restart or the start of the race on this track. Jeremy Gardner is going to lead lap 1 here at Texas. This race has the potential to go by fairly quickly, around 30-second lap times here, of course. We're expecting 1 pit stop. If we do go green, it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers decide to do. I think tire wear will be a factor here as you see a big move down the inside of the backstretch. I think we're going to look at splitting it directly in half, but you do get into a bit of a danger zone if you stay out past lap 50 and it's still green flag running if a caution comes out, Shane.
Yeah, it also kind of factors into how good you are at maintaining those good years underneath you. You know, if you wear those tires out too fast, obviously you'd love to split this race 50-50, even if we got cautions, you know, stay out, maybe gain some track position if you're good enough at saving your tires. Got a big block there out of the 51, the 17, the 97, excuse me, is going to look to his inside, but I
washes up.
A big slide there. But I think really just to cut this short, I don't want to talk too much, but I think it's just, you know, take care of your tires and you'll probably pan out okay, but that's an easier task, easier said task than done.
Absolutely. You see, or you saw last time we went around 3 and 4. Oh, as you, yeah, 51 went way up into the wall on the exit of 2. It's like a parking lot, they say. It's so wide on the exit of 2 as the 97 now has to deal with a truck underneath. Looks like that's Barkus going underneath Caulfield. We're riding on board with Kendorian Davis, who washed up just a little bit, or almost was washed up into by the 97 just a couple laps ago around 3 and 4. You see, gets a little bit off the apex. I wonder if, you know, you lift a little bit there because the last time you went around 2, if you're the 51, you got into the wall, but he did gain some momentum there and tries to chase down some more trucks to enter into the top 5.
Yeah, you gotta, you know, it's high risk, high reward. Big block there for the third.
In the grass!
In the grass as well is the 6 truck. Got Mike George behind him, and that might not be a truck you want to block because he just set our fastest lap of the race at 30.155 seconds. That's 174 miles per hour of Mike George. Saw him very strong at Talladega as well. And had quite the run there on the 3rd place truck. Got denied, and it's still Gardner up at the head of the field.
Gardner is leading, but it's not like he's been able to scoot away from the rest of this pack. The top 6 starting to separate themselves, and within that, the top 4 are definitely under a blanket. So far, it looks like there's very evenly matched vehicles in this race. It's a fixed setup series, and 100 laps. You do the math there, and it's just around 150 miles of racing tonight. If you make a mistake in the beginning, there's time to get back up through the field, but not much. And as we see here, there is potential for green flag runs. As you see a move around the outside, or at least some defense around the outside, as that 51 machine of Davis tries to get into the top 5. He is very racy right now in that Monster Energy 51 Toyota.
Yeah, absolutely trying to unleash the beast there in that 51 Tundra, doing all he can, but just, oh gosh, some of these guys are definitely getting pretty greedy on the exits of the corners. We talked a few laps ago about the 51 as he dives to the inside again for fifth, but 1 and 2 here, it is so long. I mean, it feels like you are in this set of corners forever. It feels like it just never ends, and by the time it does finally end, that exit of the turn 2 wall just kind of pulls you in like a magnet, it feels like, whereas right here through 3 and 4, you're more flat out, especially in one of the Craftsman trucks. But definitely the 51 strong so far.
I really appreciated your tagline right there, but you do not receive royalties for naming any trademarks with the primary sponsor of that 51 truck. But the top two have broken away just a little bit. And, you know, talking a little bit more about the 51, you saw the defense was on that middle line, that second groove, and that's going to save and conserve tires as this run does go on. A peek down the inside right there. If you try and plant that truck right down against that white line, that apex, especially early through a corner, you're going to really scrub some of the life out of that rubber. As you see again, the 51, Davis trying to get a move going in the background here, but this top two duo, they're breaking away.
Yeah, it seems Davis has been the main one, at least in our field of vision, that has been very aggressive and in a hurry to try and get through this pack. Not much success. Battle for third beginning to heat up again there. Out back here, where the contact there, the 29, working really hard, maybe getting a little impatient. Not sure if that contact was totally intentional, but it definitely got his attention.
Yeah, that was McKowen in P3 right now, trying to keep that truck just in front of Mike George in the 29 machine. It's definitely now getting a bit segmented between all the drivers up top, and you see in the background the 51 has made it past Holt in that 71 machine, so he's into the top 5. We'll see if he's able to catch up to the runners up in the top 4. Looks like he's already gapped a little bit, and now Holt might be hurting just a tad. The 24 machine trying to make a move here. That's Benjamin Stevens. A bit of a squeeze. The 97. Oh, man. Cofield's going to have to try and keep this truck steady and stable, but Michael McCarthy's there to pounce.
That was a very hairy situation. Thought about maybe crossing back underneath the 24 truck. Then the 3 truck was there, so maybe could have risked cutting down and turning himself around, but got a battle for the lead up at the front though. Gardner's reign since the start, it has come to an end. David Duke, no contest, goes to the lead. Can't help wonder if that's maybe a little bit of tire related, or, well, got a caution.
Caution out on the speedway, and is this the number 10 truck? It certainly is. Jim Kaufman is in the wall in that Chevy Silverado Army machine. We'll have to see exactly what damage he received. He kind of took on that truck, the Veterans for Life number 10. It doesn't look too bad, but you obviously saw it up against the wall.
Yeah, it's the rear end. Obviously, they updated the damage model here, and James Kaufman, of course, the rear end looks a little bit crumpled up. Let's see. Running behind the 808 of Beaver. Now to 3 and 4. Maybe just come around. Oh, gets up in front of the 95 and just got a little tap and oof. Now that would have been a very square hit at a lower speed, but he backed it in pretty good there, Dylan.
He certainly did, and that was a hard-looking hit. My goodness, and
let's take a look right from the rear end here. Gets a small tap.
Yeah, I've got to be honest there. As you see the crunch happen, you know, if it was a bit quicker in developing, I would have said, it's a racing incident. But the 95 had a lot of time and reaction that just was not kind of taken as all the trucks go into the pits here with 85 laps to go. They've got extra sets of tires. Might as well use it, but we'll see where the speed differences do lie. We see 2 trucks deciding not to go into the pits. So this will be an interesting.
Tommy Lemley is the first one to stay out, and now this is kind of a put your money where your mouth is kind of decision here, in my opinion. Obviously, we're not very far into the race. We're coming back around to what will be 84 to go this time by, but depending on your abilities to save tires, that could have been a very long run for you, or very short if you're good at it. So when these guys go green, and they got all these trucks out back that are on newer rubber, we'll see just how good they are at saving their rubber. That's kind of where, why I say put your money where your mouth is.
Well, and this can also end up being a good move, depending on how the cautions fall, right? Like, there's so many things that can happen over the course of this race as the lights go off on the pace truck. The real question is, how much did 15, 14 laps of wear really hurt some of these drivers? We'll have to see that once they do get back to green flag racing here next time by, with 83 laps to go. Another thing is, of course, the fuel mileage. Everyone will still have to go into the pits one more time before this race. So this is purely a tire-based strategy. The only people that can gain, really, are the two that stayed out. And of course, that's Lemley there in the number 30, and in the 32, Westenberg. And Westenberg also started way in the back of the field, remember?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, depending on if we get some more cautions, this could bode well for them. You know, if we go a little bit into this run and they haven't lost a ton of track position, and we get another caution, and maybe all these other guys decide, well, let's pit again. They can pit with them and just kind of cycle even to them on that tire set. But we'll see. This is going to be an interesting restart. Lemley will have control. He is the race leader, so we'll see where he chooses to fire upon hitting the restart zone.
Certainly will be interesting. We'll see if there's any bit of wheel spin as the trucks get back up to racing speed. We're back underway here at Texas Motor Speedway with 83 laps to go after caution number 1 of this race. And already, we'll see Lemley's. Oh, look at that. That is nothing for Westenberg. He's not going to be able to compete on the outside there. And already down the inside of Tommy Lemley comes some competition. For him, it's just about holding on until you get to that first pit stop.
Yeah, Lemley was actually impressing me there. Oh, we got one truck sideways. I think he's going on. Yeah, David Duke. Oh, and he's spinning back up into traffic, and the 32's going around. More going to pile in. I see Bieber involved. Oh, boy. Big carnage. I thought he was going to spin it down onto pit road, and it looks like we had a little bit of an overcorrection, back up into traffic, and we are quickly back under the yellow flag.
Yeah, he tried to get that truck slowed down, held the brakes through that infield grass area. Just, I mean, once you're already committed with a lot of speed going back up the track and washing into traffic, there's not much you can do. Let's take a look at the replay here. We'll spool it back just a little bit more to see what's going on while the light show of yellow bars go around. But it's in the mid-pack, and you see that Nickelodeon colored machine, that Westenberg truck. He gets absolutely smashed there, but that's an avoidance. That's almost a separate looking incident between multiple drivers in this field. Obviously, the 78 is going to be getting that one fast repair used up quite early in this race. But for David Duke, who started P2, that's an unfortunate way for this race to kind of carry out in the first 20 or so laps.
Yeah, and I mean, here's another view of it. So you see the 32 truck, mentioned the Nickelodeon colored truck, one of the ones that stayed out earlier on. And the 78 goes down to 3 Steve, maybe just gets a little too low. Sideways, just just straight up overcorrected. That angle really, oh gosh, and the 13, just, that is about as unlucky of a place you could have been at that moment. But with the 78 spin up the track, something had to be there. Oh my goodness. And I think it's gone from bad to worse here from the 78. And we've lost him. He's dropped out. That truck will not be getting back on the racetrack.
Which is quite confusing considering that they do have one fast repair for all of these trucks to use. The only thing I can imagine is when going into that pit stop, maybe he accidentally left that fast repair checked. That is something that could happen. You always have to make sure you're checking, checking whether you have things checked or unchecked.
Not even just fast repairs, your tires as well. I mean, we've all, especially those of us that have iRace, we've all accidentally used a set of tires when trying to fix damage. I think we're all guilty of that.
I don't want to talk about that. Oh, goodness. But do want to take this moment to remind everybody about INVETS, the primary title sponsor of the Sunday Truck Series. INVETS is founded by veterans for veterans, and it aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit here in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. Of course, they're the title sponsor of this GLR Sunday Truck Series. Appreciate the partnerships that do happen here in this broadcasted race, and I'm excited to be doing this alongside you, Shane. It's first time I'm doing some lead commentary on Maconi Entertainment, and it's been fun doing things with eNASCAR and Road to Pro, and we've got some more of those races coming up soon. Top 20, of course. It's getting to the wire there. Always something going on across the portfolio of Maconi Entertainment broadcasts, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on the Maconi Twitch, the iRacing Twitch account, YouTube. You can catch us in a lot of places, and you can catch this race going back to Green Flag Racing with 78 laps to go here. Shane, I feel like that question of were 15 laps of tires really worn? I think the answer is yes. You want tires when you can get them.
I think we painfully found out the answer to that question, but we did find out the answer to that question. Barney is very eager here, as he always is, in terms of our flagman here over on the iRacing service. He's going to drop it in front of the field. We're back underway. Maybe a little bit of wheel spin that time from the outside road.
Oh, yeah, lots of wheel spin, and it got a little bit miscombobulated there on the restart. Jeremy Gardner will retake the lead that he started this race with, and already you see the 51 truck still trying to make moves. Yeah, and you see that slide in the back. Just not a good day for the 32 truck right here in this one. 51, though, has made it again into the top 5. McCarthy in behind him. I feel like we're going to see the top 2 continue to pace here, but with very limited adjustments that these trucks can make, it really comes down to the driver's understanding of the truck on this track and how it changes throughout the night with the rubber laid down.
Yeah, you can love Texas, you can hate Texas, but you can't deny it. To win here, you've got to know your way around here. This is a driver's racetrack. It's tough to maintain your tires and your truck and your patience. And tell you what, Jeremy Gardner, who is up front right now, that second place runner of George, we mentioned earlier on that he set the fastest lap of the race. I would not feel too content with my lead with him in the rear view, because this is the first real opportunity that he's had to pounce at our race leader. But we did see earlier on in that first long green flag run, well, semi-long green flag run, that they stayed bunched up for a little bit, and then they did kind of eventually break away into their own separate packs, which we're already seeing a little bit of right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, it took them around 8 or so laps before we started to see that fragmentation happen at this track. It's a really solid amount of trucks in this race, and you already start to see some moves just a few laps after the restart right there. We haven't really talked about Charles Abbott yet in this one, but He is all over the back of that Mountain Dew Chevy, currently driven by Lanford right in front. Currently in 8th place. This is a battle for 7th right now. That 25 machine is looking a little bit uncomfortable on the defense, but look at that. All of a sudden, the 7 has to go on defense, opens the door way up right there, and drops a spot.
And that's another part about Texas that's so tricky about 1 and 2 is, you saw he opened up the door slightly, had a truck to his inside, and he ended up really kind of overdriving turns 1 and 2, and look at all the ground that he lost just at this exact spot a lap ago. We were talking about how he was right on the tailgate of that silver Mountain Dew truck that you were mentioning, and now kind of has to wind it back up again. As we had one truck catch the wall there. Marcus 15 truck caught the wall slightly off. I believe it was turn 4. Seems like no harm, no foul. Maybe lost a spot, or maybe more from it. The 99 trying to give this outside a go. So going to be door to door, coming to the stripe as you're on board here with Jamie Barkus in the 15 Silverado.
Yeah, we'll try and see exactly, if there's any damage there. Doesn't look like it. These trucks can take quite the beating, but on the outside of the 15 is the 99 trying to pack air into the entry to turn 3. Might have loosened up that 99 machine just a tiny bit. Brandon Wallace lost some momentum, and the 15 is fighting back here on the inside, but it's going to be really hard unless he just slides it in here in a 1 to make that move stick.
He's not quite going to be able to get clear. That 99 is not letting up. And that can be kind of your own downfall. You can burn up your tires running side by side on the outside of somebody so hard. You're fighting so hard for that position. Sometimes it can slip your mind. You get so into that kind of racer mentality that you just want to go, go, go. You're not thinking about, the next 15 laps when that truck might not feel as good. I think the 15 might get this 99 here.
Yeah, 15 might do it. It's going to have to, yes, slide up a little bit. Momentum might go back the other way. It definitely will down the backstretch, but I just don't think it's going to be easy unless you're able to get down the inside. And very quickly, you saw that defense right there to try and make sure there's a bit of aero tightness that goes on in behind, but there was a little bit of a wiggle on the exit of the corner, and now you see some of that blinking right there. I think he might have left the server completely. We'll have to get confirmation on that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's one thing that is kind of a con about this not being a real race. Doesn't matter how good you are, if your internet fails you, you might not see the checkered flag. Hate to see that. We'll obviously keep an eye on if maybe there's a reconnection or anything, but obviously going to be... he's back in now, so that's just a part of iRacing right there.
It's a part of any internet-based kind of move as we're going along. And look at that 808 machine. That's Brett Bieber right there. Bieber, he's been a little bit quiet in this race. The man from the Keystone State. It's a pretty solid state if you ask me, in that Wheaties machine. We've got our producer also agreeing there. We'll have to talk about that after the broadcast. Go Birds.
Surrounded by Pennsylvanians in here. I got to get some Virginians. Who's the highest Virginian in the race right now? That's what I want to know.
That's a fair question.
But Brett Bieber is doing a phenomenal job. Obviously, maybe not as competitive as he'd like, but respectably inside the top 20 and plenty of time to turn his night around. Beautiful Wheaties truck course. Good old Sam Bass design on that Silverado. It's still Jeremy Gardner up at the front. This is kind of that calm point of the race right now where guys are just fighting for position here and there, trying to make sure their truck's in one piece. So we go along here to the 25 truck. You mentioned this truck earlier, the Mountain Dew Silverado. Makes me think of the old Dale call.
I like it. There's a lot of... the 3 was trying to intimidate down the inside there, and maybe held that L1 bumper a little bit. You remember that old one? The Intimidate button from old NASCAR video games? You like that? I never used the share draft. That was pointless.
Nah, you don't want to share draft. Why would you want to do that? You want to get that villain rating up. It was always impossible to get the hero rating anyway, let's be real.
Yeah, I wasn't that good of a driver when I was 8 years old, and I'm certainly not better at 25. Oh.
58 truck here. Nicholas Shell, Texan. Home track race for the 58 truck. Got the beast unleashed on that Chevrolet. I can attest as a Tyler Reddick fan to that being some good stuff on board that truck. So, go Nicholas. I like the truck.
Oh, man. Well, I certainly will say this, as we see, that's the one that has the beast getting unleashed. And he's right now in the midst of a lot of traffic, on the lower side of the top 10 battle, and he's going to have a major run right here trying to make it into the top 10. Just puts that right front fender down to the left rear quarter panel, and that is a completely missed corner. Gonna have some momentum coming out of the corner, but it's still not going to equalize what he lost going into turn one.
I'll tell you, if I've been behind this 7 truck at any point and seen him get passed by a couple guys, I've noticed that it's now the second truck that I've seen get to his inside going to turn 1, and it has really hurt his ability to make turns 1 and 2, trying to ensure that the truck below has enough room, but it's going to do it again here in 1 and 2. Oh, and he's going to drive. We got this. Got one.
Save it!
Here.
Save it!
That's Tommy Lemley, and he's able to do so. Oh my goodness, we'll have to take a look back at that from a better vantage point. Able to hold on in that 30 truck. Tommy Lemley, one of the trucks we mentioned earlier on that tried to fade out on those older tires and maybe paying the price for it now. We talked about how you can maybe hope for a caution and cycle back with everybody's track position. That's not going to do him any favors. We'll take a look back at what exactly happened to Lemley here.
Well, I'll say this for sure. It's going to be cool to look at this in the replay, but you're going to be unhappy if you're Lemley watching this and seeing all the positions you dropped because of this minor error, just way too hard into that corner. Even on completely fresh tires, you're not making the corner at that speed. Luckily for him, just a little bit of harm, not much more than that, though.
Yeah, not too many fouls other than the lost ground, no damage done cosmetically to that 30 truck or internally, all good, able to keep it straight, live to fight hopefully multiple more laps as now we cut over here to the 3 truck. All these guys, all these battles that we're looking at, you mentioned that once we get further into a run, you'll notice the tire wear. Some of these guys are starting to slide around a little bit, some of them are starting to get tighter. And that's making for some really interesting battles because everybody's kind of on different tire wear. I was going to say strategies, but everybody's tire wear is different. And that's going to make racing around them very different. See the 99 leaning on the door of the 25. And I say that it makes it different, depending on how worn their tires are. See, look at some of these guys just sliding on the edge of the corners because, if you're racing somebody to your inside that's on older rubber than you, they're going to maybe wash up. The example, the 99 cutting no brakes to the 25 truck, and who maybe the 25 truck has done a better job taking care of their tires, and they just kind of have to pay the price until they can get around the 99. He's just stuck up here on the outside for the time being, but he is not going down easy here, Dylan.
Yeah, not at all, and this is part of what makes racing at this 2017 on Texas Motor Speedway so difficult. It's hard to complete passes unless the driver in front of you makes a mistake. The 99 definitely washed up in front of him right there. The problem, though, is that because of the dirty air, which is not as big or impactful in the trucks that it would be in Cup Series cars, that dirty air, you see it right there, an example of it. If a car or truck comes down from the outside, swings down to the inside, and you're trying to ride that inside line, as there's a big dive to the inside there, that's going to really hurt your aerodynamic grip through the corner. It takes away that clean air in front of you, and then you lose time overall. That's going to be a truck potentially in the wall. What a save indeed. Wow.
Saved it, but paid the price in a couple of positions, but great job by the 99 truck. Oh my goodness, and like you were saying, that aero push, the best way that I can explain it to the viewers back home, that, you know, if maybe you're watching, you don't sim race, anything like that, when a truck pulls down in front of you, you're just plowing. It just feels like you cannot turn at all. Let's take another look here at the 99 truck. So what happened here, clean and green down the front stretch, gets a big run of 3. You mentioned this big dive down to the inside, and does he wash up into the 3? Yes, just tags him in the left rear. Somehow able to save it, keeps it off the inside wall. Thankfully, nobody above him when he rejoined the racing groove there, but still did lose a little bit of ground there. But these guys are all having some great battles throughout this racetrack on older tires.
Yeah, just outstanding to watch. You know, it's not necessarily the most exciting of racing all throughout the field, but when there are one-on-one battles, it does get quite exciting, and not all the trucks are behaving the same way as this race continues. Jones in the pits. It might be the first that we see of this pit cycle to go down into pit road. Look at that, a big move to the outside right there, trying to get that gap, get that hole to go down into turn 3 and 4, hitting the apex perfectly. Just, it's hard to separate this group of 5 right here.
Yeah, you know, you were mentioning a few laps ago that it would be, oh my goodness, 25. And these guys, they're having the time of their lives right now. These battles are just amazing.
That's way too high to make a move.
Exactly, overdriving the corners, sliding off turn exits, going through the front stretch grass. I mean, this is good stuff. And you mentioned that this would be way worse than a cup car. So, you know, these guys have it easy by comparison to a cup car, and they're still having a heck of a time. So I guess if there's anything for these guys that are fighting these old tires so hard to be grateful for, it's that this is the truck, not the cup car. Taking a look at the 24 truck there, he's next staring down at the 25, Benjamin Stevens in that 24 truck. Started up in the top 5, has dropped all the way down to 9th, but still respectably inside the top 10. So we have finally hit 50 laps remaining here at Texas.
So while we are halfway through this race, it is important to note that most of the drivers in this field, actually all but one, did go into the pits on that lap 15 caution. So let's just act like that is the only and primary strategy right now. If you went into the pits for fresh tires and fuel at lap 15, you'd still have to go into the pits one more time to make it. If they pit right now, they're good to the end as the 25 smacks the wall on the exit of 4. It's going to be a lot of loss of momentum right here. Opens the door to the 58 to make up that spot. I do have to say, though, if you go into the pits right now, you're going in after 35 laps on a set of sticker tires, and there was also a caution and a few extra caution laps in that period as well. So it doesn't make sense to go into the pits now. It probably makes more sense to go in around 20 or so laps, or just to keep driving until one truck goes and everyone else follows.
You know, or just hope for a caution. Checking in here on Jeremy Gardner, our leader, having absolutely no issues at the head of our field. He is loving the clean view out the front and nothing but asphalt up ahead. Started first, and I don't recall him ever really falling out of the lead other than when we had a couple trucks try that strategy back at that lap 15 caution. And like you said, you know, everybody is basically on the same strategy, so that really tells you just how different these guys are. And this just goes for any race you'd watch in any league or any official race even at Texas and in the Truck Series trucks, is how different these guys are at handling tire wear and who's better at it than others. Here's Mike George, you know, set the fastest lap earlier on, Yet Jeremy Gardner has been able to break away. So our third place runner, the 6 truck, just hit the wall. Cody McKillen.
Yeah, that was into the wall right there. That was a definite scrape with the passenger side against the wall through the dog leg right there, but seems to be okay. Just lost a few hundredths, maybe a tenth right there on that lap and maybe into this lap, but keeps on keeping on and trying to get one more spot up ahead on this road. And this is a smart idea. If you're him, you're saying to yourself, oh wait, let's hope he didn't speed.
Yeah, you had to really cut it close there. It looked like obviously easier to tell from the cockpit based on the lights that these guys have on their dash that will light up green, yellow, or red depending on pit speed. But it looked like he was coming in a touch hot there, but he is not the only one. Pit road beginning to be a pretty busy place here. Oh, he overshot the box ever so slightly, has to back up. That's another thing on older tires. When you try to get into your box, sometimes adjusting your brake bias a little bit, racing it, so you don't just go wheel hopping through your pit box helps a lot.
There's so much more time you can lose than you can gain by trying to get into the box aggressively. So maybe it's always more worth it to lose that extra potential tenth of a second you can gain by stopping on a dime. As we're hearing reports that, the number 3 has spun out on pit road. No caution. We remain green flag here. Just some extra time spent trying to get into the pits. We're going to get a replay right here, Shane.
Yeah, so
oh, wow.
I would assume, I mean, there's no damage on this truck. I would just have to assume coming down, trying to get down to pit road speed, maybe lock the tires up a touch. We'll take another look at it here.
And you know what? You saw in that replay, he is very lucky he did not have the right side tires go into the grass there when turning that truck around, because if that did happen, there was potential. There still might be potential for some sort of penalty. I don't think there will be. But if you go outside the white lines there on pit road, you might get slapped with a black flag from the iRacing penalty system. But other than some time lost and maybe a little bit of embarrassment, it's all good.
Yeah, it looks like all good. I think the main thing that caused that is going to come up on the slow 32 truck. Go 3 wide here, just trying to gain any time that he can back.
I don't like this.
Like he lost a lot. Risky move there. I'll tell you who probably definitely didn't appreciate that risky move was Jeremy Gardner, who he just went by. 32 truck's already been struggling, already down a lap. But the 42 is our race leader, and the 3 just made a very aggressive move. But I believe what caused his spin on the pit road was, I think it was the 51 truck was coming on the pit road at the same time, just locked him up, maybe worrying that they weren't going to go ghost car yet. And tried to avoid running them over. Is you can just, and that blow by the 3 as well shows just how crazy the difference is from fresh to worn rubber here.
Also, when you're behind a truck that has worn tires on and you're trying to get by and trying to chase down another truck that's got fresh tires on, the amount of time you're going to lose through the corner is immense as Jeremy Gardner still continues to lead. Now, Gardner had a big lead in this race. My concern is that by staying out for as long as he has, how much time is he going to lose? I mean, you see trucks just blowing by him right now. I don't know if this is the smartest strategy at the moment. I'm willing to trust the driver in P1, but you're still spending a lot more time on worn tires than you necessarily have to. I guess he's trying to look at it like this. 85 laps to the end, split that around in half. That gets you to, doing quick mental math, around right now. So we'll see if that pit stop is imminent. I think it should be, and I would think it is.
I would hope so for Jeremy Gardner, and I agree with you that, obviously kind of running a risk here, obviously had a big lead. That is the only real justification I can think of that would, involve staying out for this long, trying to get a one-up on these guys, because when he does pit, albeit no matter how much later, because you want to go as long as you can, but for him, I'm not so sure that it was even necessary to do so, but so far still on track.
So far, still on with 36 laps to go. I mean, I think it's only... Oh, Gardner is actually now down pit road right there, so he is pitted. Now with 37 to go, Bobby Germain takes over the race lead. Gardner, it looks like a good pit in, good pit stop, and of course, easy pit out kind of time. So we'll see where he comes out on track, if he's behind anybody. Obviously, he'll have the fresh tires now. I think that was the very limit of what I'd feel comfortable with if I was trying to make the call up from the pit box right there for his team.
Absolutely. This is our current leader in Bobby Germain. We mentioned him earlier getting slid up into. Thankfully had the fast repair, had that crash on the front stretch, so that 13 looks as good as new. And so far up front for the time being, just awaiting their pit stop, I believe. Gardner still in the 5th position right now. However, I do want to note the 4th place runner is George. And do we know if George has hit pit road yet?
I don't believe George has. We'll have to try and get final confirmation on that. You can see the speed difference right there. Yeah, actually, you know what? Seeing that speed and him being able to kind of wrap around the bottom like that, it looks like he definitely has made it down pit road. So right now, 23 drivers on track actively. Some of them laps down on pace, some of them lap down on strategy. So Gardner is 5 seconds back of George. McElwain in second is the now race leader as Germain has come down, way overshot his pit entry. That's going to be disastrous for him. But I think now it's everyone has made their pit stop, unless I am incorrect. I believe McElwain has made his stop as well. So now it's just a straight up fight of, can Gardner make up an 8-second gap on completely fresh tires? Based on his pace earlier, it's not outside the question, but I still would have preferred to see him go in maybe with 40 to go instead of 37 to go.
Yeah, it's still the challenge that's ahead of, getting past lap traffic, slower trucks, and timing that perfectly, and that can be a challenge in itself. You do see that gap shrinking pretty quickly, though. You just mentioned a second ago that it was 8 seconds, and he is on a mission. And, you mentioned your concern with him running it as long as he did, because of a situation like this, where maybe some people could leapfrog him off pit road, due to their timing of coming down pit road. But it's gonna be interesting. 6 seconds is a long time, but still 32 to go. I think he'll probably get there, but the question is, how intense will that battle be when he gets there?
Yeah, I think, it's one thing to catch up to the trucks in front. It's another completely to pass, and you will waste a little bit of time trying to get by each of the trucks in this field by virtue of how difficult it is to just pass at this track as is. But you do see Gardner is now 5 seconds behind the race lead, 2.5 seconds behind George, and just a few laps ago, he was 5 seconds behind George. So we see the pace difference. The question is, how much of a fight will be able to be put up against the incoming Gardner?
And so far, so good, though, up front, just maneuvering lap traffic there for our race leader, Cody McElwain. Just trying to get through these 30 laps. I mean, this is one of those situations right now. I mean, you see the other two in the background there with some lappers in between, obviously. But it's one of those kind of tough situations mentally where you just wish this was the quickest. Now 29 just about laps remaining.
We got Bieber Cam right there, and the 808 machine. He definitely ate his Wheaties tonight in 6th place. When we checked in with him earlier, he was in 16th, had lost 4 positions by the time we had checked in on him then. Now, though, it's a gain of 6. We'll see if that is partially maybe because of pit strategy or just outright pace. Everything will equal out in 28 laps time. Oh, as that truck goes way up into the wall on the exit of turn 2 right there. Might have been the 92, and if it is in case, that's Alex Egan right behind the 58 truck. You see that blue and yellow machine in behind. That's some damage.
Very off the pace. It's a 95.
No ka-chow there for the 95 of Timothy Jones. That's some big damage. Yeah.
Definitely damage on the right rear there. It's Timothy Jones in that 95 Tundra. Actually has net gained a spot here, regardless. So obviously still not the night you'd want. You start 14th, you'd like to work your way up a lot higher. Obviously, race not over yet. Can't act like it's all she wrote, because right here is the dominant truck of the night of Jeremy Gardner, and that gap is now under 3 seconds to the leader, much less the just basically 2/10 gap to George right here in front of him, who he's going to get to the inside of for the runner-up spot.
That's easy.
And I don't think that, the no contest there. So now, Cody McElwain, tall task ahead of holding off this 42.
If every pass is as easy as that one to make for Gardner, then he should have no problem catching up to Cody McElwain. But the problem is there are still a few trucks in between them. How much will that affect the dirty air, the aero components of that 42 truck? That's kind of my biggest question here, because if there was clear track in front, I'd say, yeah, no question. But you see, there's a lot of traffic, not just between Gardner and McElwain, but between McElwain and some more clear track up ahead. In theory, if McElwain is able to pass that traffic, it will make it easier. Now there's lap traffic going too wide just in front of Gardner. How much more does that potentially hurt his pursuit?
A lot. A lot more than he'd like. McElwain is just, he gets by the 95, no problem, but it's definitely not going to help him in terms of the interval between him and the 42 truck of Gardner, who is chasing him down. I get the 95's going to get the wall again, but I guess if anything, it boils down more so to how quick can the 42 get by them, because we're down to 23 laps to go. He gets by the 95, no issues. Got the fastest lap of the race at the top of your screen. He's broke the 29-second bracket, 29, 99, 4, 175 miles an hour. He's on a mission, and I think it's not going to be much of a tough mission. I don't think he's playing on any legendary difficulty here.
Yeah, this is going to be much more difficult now with just a half-second gap between McElwain and Gardner. It's not a position you want to find yourself in, but if Gardner's able to make the move here, which theoretically it should happen easily once he catches up. Oh, the 6 almost went into the wall on the exit right there. You can tell he's over-driving that machine as much as possible. He knows the inevitable is coming as we see the 42 get ever so closer to the rear. Getting tight on the exit of 4 is turn 1 with 21 to go. Going to be the spot where the 42 takes back over. I believe it will. Easy does it. Gardner back out in front.
Yeah, I think he might have clipped that inside grass ever so slightly, making that pass, but it was no contest. I think the worst thing that McElwain could have done is give him the bottom. I mean, I would have done everything in my power to try and force him to go around me on the outside. That's where we've seen guys typically struggle to complete passes. Not saying it would have been a sure thing, but it maybe would have been a little bit of a lengthier battle than that. But now Gardner sitting pretty as long as he can hold on for 20 laps. That's, of course, if we don't see, knock on wood, no commentators jinx here.
Oh, boy.
That dreaded yellow flag, we know it happens. We know it happens, but hopefully we'll be all good here. But if it does happen, Jeremy Gardner, you can invoice me for your financial troubles that might prove from this.
I have made the mistake of one too many broadcasters, jinxes, and curses in my years of broadcasting, not just sim racing, but pretty much every sport under the sun or the floodlights of an ice rink. And Ricky Sisk, we haven't talked about him much tonight, and that is because he's back in 19th place right now. Still a gain of 4, now 3. How about 4 again? It keeps kind of playing around because he's in a battle right now. Positions a lap down on the day, potentially 2 laps down. Quite missed it. Oh, the 21. He's Siska's not the most comfortable right there with the 24 right in behind.
Yeah, I don't know if Larson or Reddick go that high here in Texas in one.
I don't think anyone tries.
I'm not sure if you want to go that high here, but Texas native in that 21, doing all he can, just trying to finish this one out. If there's any positive to it, not a ding on that Silverado as we take another look here at the 24 truck. Very nice red, white, and blue kind of gradient colorway on this thing right here, and lots of battles up ahead.
Yeah, and someone who's been in the midst of a lot of these battles is that 51 Monster Energy truck of Kendorian Davis. He has been involved a lot on this broadcast. Besides Jeremy Gardner, we've probably shown him and talked about him the most because he's been the one who has been the least afraid to mix it up, but he is 2.5 seconds behind P4 in Barkus, and even more so around 10 seconds back of a podium position as this race continues to move on. Gonna have to deal with the 64 going underneath him. I don't believe that's for position. No, it's fresh tires with a car or truck a lap down.
Yeah, the next battle for the 51 would actually be all the way back at the Orange Wheaties truck, Bieber, 808. There's the Virginias.
There you go.
There we go. Look at him.
Hey, Pedro. No, PD powered.
PD powered little raccoon on the back there. I like it.
Yeah, well, he's not making out like a bandit with this race. 15th place for the Virginian.
Well, he's from Virginia, so it's okay. That's like plus 14 spots.
Well, if he's speeding in Virginia, he's definitely getting a ticket. So it's.
I can't even argue with you on that one.
I know, because if you did, you'd get another ticket.
Well,
oh man.
Oh well. There's Johnny Cofield. Hey, look at Johnny Cofield go around this racetrack. Johnny Cofield, 97, currently in the 13th spot, trying to wrap the bottom. All these guys that we're just kind of going through here and highlighting at the moment, they're just trying to survive at this point, just bring home what they can. Obviously, if they catch up anybody that's for a position, they'll fight hard for it, clearly, but don't want to do anything to risk absolutely derailing your night, not at this stage of the race. Charles Abbott, the number 7 truck, currently 12th, up 3 spots from his starting position to 15th. We've seen him struggle a little bit tonight. Trucks would get under him, and he'd go about that high through 1 and 2. So
Aber definitely clipped that apron last time around 3 and 4, trying to make these moves. He's going to go a lap down as Gardner goes past him. So Gardner is in this heavy traffic right here, and this is definitely a danger zone. Caution's out right in front of the leader. Oh, man.
58 went around. Oh, my goodness. Well, I was getting ready to say that he was so fast we can't even highlight our entire field without him showing up and getting even more. A little bit of a bump there from, is that the 58 to the 6? I'm not sure if that was intentional.
We'll have to
take a look back at what happened here, because like you said, this is right in front of the race leader, because we saw they almost had their own accident trying to avoid it.
Yeah, and I was in the middle of saying this is a danger zone for Gardner to be around, and it certainly was that. It looks like the 3 got sideways a few times there going through turn 2. They're side by side going to turn 3. Not completely clear. Now the 58 is cleared, goes down the inside to try and cover off. The 3 just drives through him.
Oh my goodness.
That's right in front of the leader. Gardner had to slow it down quickly.
I'd love to getting on board of Gardner if we are able, because I mean, in terms of the accident, that I'm not sure what that one was about. He definitely drove right into the bumper of the 6 truck. Not sure what that was in reference to, but he definitely got driven through here. Here's Gardner. Now watch this. This is when you were talking about the old EA games. How would you like to see this in front of you?
Now, in fairness, Gardner didn't really react that quickly. It happened around a corner and a half in front of him, and wow, that's a I don't understand
what he's upset with the 6 truck about.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I'm surprised Gardner didn't react and slow down a little bit earlier, but I think part of that is because he knew he had traffic just behind him as well, that if he slowed down unexpectedly, he might get rear-ended. So let's take a quick break from the action here. You're watching some INVETS Truck Series racing here on Maconi Entertainment.
Isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to some INVETS Truck Series racing from GoatLocker Racing. I want to take this quick moment here to talk about Lincoln Tech. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. They're the title sponsor of the Fall Series and a very large partner of the GoatLocker Racing Series collection. So we'll get back to green flag racing this time by with 8 laps to go. We thought Jeremy Gardner was on his way to what was mounting up to be a somewhat easy final stint of this race. No longer is that the case. All these drivers went into the pits, got 4 fresh Goodyear tires, and 8 more laps here, 12 miles of Texas Motor Speedway. If we go into the pits, though, I wonder, or if we go into green flag racing, I wonder if we're going to have to see some green-white checkered action. That's going to be something we delve into if we need to. But pace truck is off. 8 to go. Jeremy Gardner is going to roll off, fire off. No saving of the equipment now. We are back underway at Texas.
Pretty good start for these first, I'd say 6 trucks at least. Had a few guys definitely struggle to fire off there. Gardner so far so good. Look at George trying to peek to the inside of McElwain. Oh, and Gardner trying to play some aero games here on the pack strips. He holds strong into turn 3. McElwain is there.
Right there. There is no point in saving the tires right now. Goes to the outside. Oh, but I don't think it's going to be easy to make a move on the outside right here. Maybe opening up the bottom. The 29 tries to be almost a can opener right there on the 6. They're side by side, and it lets Gardner get away just by a car length there.
And that's what Gardner wants to see. He wishes they would have stayed side by side this entire lap and then some. George, I'm surprised, didn't have enough momentum there on the bottom. That really shows a lot of the strength of that 6 truck, able to get clear again even after getting put up on the outside. He is back all over the tailgate of the 42.
Still trying to make up a position right here. If you don't make up the spots right now, it's going to be hard to get anything done or mount a challenge on the race leader. Both the 6 and 29, George, as well as in that 6 machine, Cody McElwain, trying to make it up here, and still some momentum. Gardner's not getting it easy right here.
Absolutely not. Went from just a cruise to it victory to having 2 trucks right here, and McElwain a little tight there on the exit turn 2, and then down to the bottom, just throwing everything he can at Gardner right now. And George just kind of has to sit back and watch. We talked about the aero blocking, aero disadvantages about being behind somebody. Think George might be dealing with some of that, or might be waiting for McElwain to set up a pass where he can maybe get a 2-for-1 deal. We got 4 laps to settle it, and the 6 is going to clip the apron.
Yeah, the 6 clips the apron. That's not going to do anything good for him. The 29 going to try and make up that momentum here and get the move done to get into second. Still side by side. It's George. It's McElwain. McElwain tries to come back to him on the inside and clips the 29. Puts him right up into the wall. We're going to a green-white checkered overtime finish. What a nasty-looking incident. One that did not have to go that way.
Goodness. Horrific crash in 3 and 4 between George and McElwain. Just side by side, it looked like the 2 almost got locked together. The 29 immediately taking a tow to pit road. That thing is destroyed. Here's a better look at what happened here. Now we're going to go back the whole lap here. So the 29 doing all he can to just kind of try and give himself an opening at the 6. The 6 is going to clip the apron right there. 29 gets underneath. And then he's going to follow the 42 to try and, get some draft, pull up to the 42, and let's see. Oh, I think he got a little out of shape. Oh, and netcode.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. And unfortunately, you'll see both of those drivers get upset with each other. But when it comes down to any post-race, penalties, I think we'll look at it as netcode definitely playing a part there.
Yeah, 29, I mean, he got sideways a little bit. Even if no netcode was involved here, there's no malintent in this accident. He's going to go down here. Watch the steering wheel. He wobbles a little
just a bit, but...
And then the netcode, of course, just two connections between 2 different people not agreeing with where they are on the racetrack at that given time. So either the 6 truck registered that he was way lower towards the 29, or the 29 registered he was up way higher towards the 6. It met up at a very unfortunate time and has absolutely destroyed those 2 trucks.
And trust me, I understand why they went so intense right there fighting for second. But real quick, before we do get going back to overtime here, we want to talk about Jam Printing and Promotions from Plainfield, Indiana. We are local, we are veteran certified, and when we do well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with GoatLocker Racing since the very beginning and provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company. They are the Pole Award sponsor for all series this season. If you want to grab yourself a GoatLocker Racing shirt, any kind of apparel, they do have a store set up on the league website. Gonna have to grab myself some shirts to show off during these broadcasts, but you see it up on that ticker. This is attempt number 1 of 3 on a green, white, checkered overtime here. I like green, white, checkered a lot more than the term overtime, but that might just be my 1998 born NASCAR racing fan mindset.
For me, it's I like thinking back fondly when I was younger to the old graphic that Fox used to play with the flags going across the screen.
Yes.
That's what I like. I don't like none of this overtime either. We're going to call it a green, white, checker. See, we do it right over at Maconi Entertainment.
I think we do it very, very accurate with that one.
And you were mentioning Jam Printing. They're the Pole Awards sponsor, and Gardner is our pole winner, and he has absolutely, definitely shown that he earned that pole position. It's been dominant all night. However, of course, with it being a green, white, checkered, this does change things quite a bit, and it also changes the faces that are competing in this, as we just saw the 6 and 29 trucks go into the outside wall, taking each other out. Now, all of a sudden, Gardner has new competition to go up against in a very short run to the checkered flag to go up against them, so he has to be perfect.
If there's one driver I think could do something to knock Gardner off from P1 here with 2 laps to go, I would have to say we've seen Kendorian Davis try all these different types of lines to make moves in this race so far. Not all of them have worked out, but he does have the experience and the aggression trying all these different lines, trying all these different ways to potentially win this race, and he's been given a golden opportunity right here. He's going to have to knock off the one driver who really has been, you know, the cream of the crop, the creme de la crop of this field, Jeremy Gardner.
Very nice there on that one.
J'ai pas un peu français, monsieur.
Well, don't do it too much. We're gonna have people thinking they're tuning into the wrong dub. But I think you're right. Davis definitely has the guts to do it. He's been gutsy all night. I definitely like what I've seen out of this 51 truck. We are hearing as well, by the way, that the 6 truck that was involved in that last accident did get DQ'd, but not intentionally. Maybe an incident point situation or penalty unnoticed. But we're going back to racing here.
Here we go, green flag, horrible start right there for the 51 truck. Davis is gonna have to try and compete for 3rd now, because right into 2nd is that 15 machine of Jamie Barkus. Where's he been all night? He's trying to make it up and get maybe a steal of a victory here. Going down the backstretch, halfway down to it into 3. Gardner has 1 truck length of an advantage here, and it's a one-on-one dogfight for the win of this race, and still getting away from it is Gardner. He's going to get the white flag here. This is the final lap of the race. No more caution flags. If they wreck, we keep on running. But P3, that's where the fight lies.
How about Bieber out of nowhere? We're talking about how he needed a better net gain on the night. Well, he's going to get it right now, maybe even in a podium. No fight for the win. The 15's not going to be able to get there. The battle will be for 3rd between Bieber and Davis. It's Gardner coming to the checkered flag.
Gardner will get the checkered flag, crosses the stripe. It's his race, and getting to 3rd. Who got there first? That was as close as you could possibly have seen. Yeah, Kendorian Davis. We'll have to see the exact gap, but he rounds out the podium. He's going to be kicking himself. It could have been more. Barkus gets P2, but at the end of the day, I'd say the one who deserved the win as much as possible did get the victory there. Jeremy Gardner from pole position to checkered flag. Almost a perfect race, and he gets to celebrate on the stripe. He's deserved it.
Yeah, and he wasted no time getting him back around here to burn down those tires. It's like, I took care of them long enough. I'm not trash them now. Flew back around here to celebrate. Like you said, he definitely earned this one without a doubt. Class of the field from that jam printing pole award position all the way to the checkered flag. And a great run for Bieber as well. You mentioned Davis finished off the podium, but Bieber had a great recovery as well, and Davis definitely didn't have the restart that he wanted. The 15, our 2nd place finisher, just unable to get there in time. So, of course, it's Gardner taking home the checkered flag.
Well, we will be right back from Texas Motor Speedway. Jeremy Gardner gets the dub here in round 2 of GLR INVETS Sunday Series.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It was a good 100 laps and some change here at Texas Motor Speedway. We thought it was going to be 100 laps, no overtime, green-white checkered finish, but we did get exactly that. An interesting ending. Jeremy Gardner gets the win over Jamie Barkis, while Kendorian Davis rounds out P3 just by 7 thousandths, or I should say 13 thousandths, I can't do math, of a second, over Brett Bieber. Benjamin Stevens rounds out the top 5. Tommy Lemley, good result for him in the 30. Timothy Wilms, Bobby Germain, Johnny Caulfield, and James Kaufman, your top 10 in P11. Nicholas Schell, Matt Knights, Michael McCarthy, Cameron Wessenberg is the first one a lap down. Ricky Sisk Jr., Colton Lanford, your top 16. Timothy Jones, George Jewell, Brandon Wallace, and Charles Everett, your top 20. And then everybody else back on from here had some pretty unfortunate nights. Scott Gilroy, Mike George, Jeremiah Holt, David Duke, and Cody McIlwain all finishing back down the order. Cody got DQ'd potentially from points, incident points acquired throughout the race. We'll have to see exactly what that was as we continue moving. But it's time for some interviews, and we're going to start with Kendorian Davis from third place. Kendorian had a really solid run, and it could have been more. Welcome to the broadcast booth, and I got to say, man, are you kicking yourself a little bit with that last restart? You almost had a shot. You were aggressive all night, and you were right there at the end, though.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that I couldn't get there because I had the speed too. Yeah, but yeah, man, this was an awesome race. Gotta thank Maconi for broadcasting this. INVETS, Next Level Racing. It's all just a great race, man.
Yeah, it definitely looked like you were showing some speed all throughout. And we're actually watching your racecraft earlier on. And it seemed like you were trying to find where the grip was, especially through 1 and 2. And you were making some good progress, good inroads there. Are you happy with the result?
Yes, I'm very happy. I take this as a win. It's momentum heading into the next race. Can't wait to get there.
Heck yeah, man. Dover is up next. What are your thoughts on that track?
Well, I've never run Dover as much, but I'm still confident about it. I feel like I can do well.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the podium finish. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yes, I'd like to give a big shout out to my team owner, Sean Gus, my best friend, Jay Collins, JJ Moore. All those guys are great and the best friends a guy could ever have.
Awesome, man. Love to hear that. You can't go wrong with some awesome friends. Kendorian, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck next week.
All right, thanks.
All right, solid driving shown from him tonight. And in P2, Shane, you're standing alongside Jamie Barkis.
Yeah, Jamie Barkis shot out of a cannon out of nowhere there on that last restart. Looked like you were going to have a shot at it. What more could you have done? Did you have a plan once you got to the leader, or was it just, well, let's see what happens?
No, I didn't deserve a second place finish tonight. Cody McElwain and Mike George definitely should have been rounding out the podium, but they got together. It opened the door there on that last restart. And I was just going to stick on Jeremy's bumper as best I could to try to clear the 51 there and get second place. I had nothing for Jeremy Gardner, so I'm happy with this, even though I didn't deserve it.
Well, I mean, you were where you needed to be when you needed to be there. That's good enough for second. I mean, racing is it's like that sometimes. So obviously, Dover is next week. Do you feel like maybe you'll be in a position where, in your mind, you'll be able to deserve that one? How do you feel about Dover?
Honestly, I mean, this is probably a one-off deal for me with this series. I'm not typically going to be able to run Sunday nights. I've been having some connection issues with iRacing, and I came in tonight to see if what we did Friday cleared it up. And although I didn't get dropped, I still was missing from the track for probably a solid lap and a half total for the race. So that's not good. So we still got some work to do to figure out what's going on here. But yeah, this will probably be one of the only races I run this series this year.
Well, it was great to have you here regardless, and congrats on the second place finish. Hopefully that does get all sorted out. Being MIA for a lap or two, you still finished second. I'm not sure how many people can say they've done that. So anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go tonight, Jamie?
First of all, I got to thank you guys up in the booth with Maconi Entertainment. You guys do a great job for us. Both nights of the week that you call for us, Wednesday and here with this series, the INVETS Truck Series. So appreciate that. Got to thank our Lincoln Tech. They're sponsoring the entire fall series for us here at GLR. This season 2 of 2024. Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing. INVETS, as we said, Jampering Promotions, Maconi Setup Shop, V-Speed, and NASCAR 360. All of our partners that help make this thing go. We appreciate every one of them.
All right, Jamie. Well, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the runner-up.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
See you in round. All right, Dylan. I think we're going to move along to the man of the hour now. Race winner, Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy, you got the dub. Dylan, I think you got some questions for him.
Absolutely. And Jeremy Gardner has joined us up in the booth. And it looked like it was going to be a bit of an easy stroll until you got in the middle of traffic. And, oh, boy, things went haywire quite quickly. Is the heart rate coming down a little bit right now?
Yeah, for sure. That was a hell of a race. That was really fun. I love this track. It puts on some great racing for sure.
Definitely seemed like you had speed, obviously, all throughout. And we were kind of wondering up here in the booth why you were pitting with 37 laps to go. Was that just kind of you knew you had the speed? Was there a delta that you were trying to make sure you stayed within so you could catch up, make the pass, and then just stroll on your way?
I was actually listening to the broadcast as y'all said that.
Oh boy.
We're in trouble.
No, y'all ain't in trouble. No, man, I was honestly, I was just trying to give myself a challenge. I like dropping back a little bit and just seeing what I can do, just see if I can get through the field. I mean, everybody pitted probably lap 55, 54 or whatever. I knew I had pace. I just wanted to see what kind of pace I had, because I know David there at the beginning of the race, he stayed on my rear there for the longest until he made a mistake and spun out of 3 and 4. But no, I figured that would work, man. Tires on here, everything. So I figured I wouldn't be that much in trouble. I think when I pitted, Cody was 5-6 seconds behind me. So I figured I would be okay. I mean, 55 is a little early in the run here at Texas. Texas eats tires like extremely bad, really, really bad in 3 and 4. So I just wanted to see how it would play out, just give myself a challenge. So got to give everybody a show, man.
Well, it definitely gave us a show here. Hey, anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, man. Pat and Jamie always. They put on a hell of a league. Appreciate everything they do for the veteran community. Appreciate everything they do for GLR. I appreciate running here every week. This is my favorite league that I'll probably ever run in. Lincoln Tech, Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Nasty's Restaurant Bar. One of my sponsors, Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, INVETS, Championing and Promotions, NASCAR 360, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PCs, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, and of course, y'all guys for putting on the broadcast tonight. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Jeremy, thank you so much, and congratulations once again on the victory.
Appreciate y'all guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you then. What a race for Jeremy Gardner. And Shane, up next is Dover Motor Speedway. And if you look at the schedule that we kind of showed earlier, that schedule graphic that the league provides us, it's the old Dover International Speedway logo, and I love that logo. It's the one I grew up with. This track, it is a beast. You might call it a monster of a track.
Absolutely, but I love it nonetheless. This is such a fun racetrack. Obviously, fortunate enough for old Jeff Maconi to have asked me to call this series with Maconi Entertainment, so I'll be here next week as well for Dover. Can't wait, and definitely think we'll have some guys wanting to rebound after Texas at the Monster.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers trying to make it up. Texas, it eats tires. Dover, it's kind of just a roller coaster and also difficult to pass, but you can get some different lines working, and just overall, you can get a lot of good things going on. That race is going to be on all Maconi Entertainment platforms next Sunday, September 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Same start time, same length, on an hour and a half that entire broadcast will be. Hope to see you on our Twitch or YouTube channels. But of course, we got to give one more shout out, one more thanks to all of our partners, Jam Printing and Promotions, Lincoln Tech, and of course, INVETS. My name is Dylan Coyle, joined alongside Shane Mundy, DJ Lyon, working the controls as producer for tonight's race. On to Dover next week. Jeremy Gardner gets the dub here at Texas Motor Speedway. 8 races until the playoffs.